Welcome to the Aquarium Dilemmas podcast. I'm your host, ScienceGal Aquatics. I'm Kerri, and this is my co-host over here.
Welcome to the first ever Aquarium Dilemmas podcast.
This is Jessie. I just want to welcome you to the show. Thanks so much for listening. And if you're a membership to ScienceGal Aquatics on YouTube and you want to join into and chit chat with us during the show, you can join the membership over at ScienceGal Aquatics. You can be a tank pal or a tank mate for some extra features for this podcast. But again, welcome to the first show. And today we just kind of want to talk about our history with fish keeping and the history that we have as being a couple with fish keeping, because I brought Jesse into the hobby. He did not.
How I stumbled into it.
This fantastic hobby and the fantastic group of people that we've met being in this hobby was not on his radar. And at first, really, I didn't know about the community that tunes in and wants to go down the rabbit hole with me about everything cool about fish tanks. And not only the good stuff, but there's kind of an up and down journey when it comes to fish keeping, that through being here through the podcast shows, hopefully we can learn from each other
and the cons.
about there's some days in this hobby that even no matter how long you've been in it, I think still kind of get you in the heart sometimes. But I want to go down this journey and learn with everybody, because there's so much to learn. You never run out of things to learn. There's always something great.
Something new, new experience one way or the other.
But my background with fish keeping is I've had tanks since my childhood. My dad got me into the aquarium hobby. My mom does not. She appreciates it because it makes my dad happy, but it's not her favorite thing. So I definitely got the love of aquariums from my dad. We would go to the fish store together, and he would let us pick out whatever we wanted. Some of the combinations didn't necessarily always go together, but somehow, from the memories I have, it did work. So he taught me everything I knew about aquariums, but I didn't necessarily always know why we did what we did. I just knew that we needed to water change weekly, and we took out to this line, but I didn't know why we did that. The explanation
of why.
For many years, because for a long time I just kept one tank. I had my childhood tank. I guess I did have a few cold water guppy tanks in my room later on during my childhood. My mom finally broke down and let me have a few 10 gallons in my room, but mainly the big showcase tank that I always remember spending time with my dad was the one in our living room, which I do have in my fish room today. I dug it out of storage at my mom's house, and we did re-silicone it. So right now it's completely filled with Vallisneria, but I just don't have too many memories without fish tanks, whereas Jesse doesn't have any memories without me in them with fish tanks.
Well, it all started with you and the moving in and brought your bow front tank,
which was a goldfish tank at the time, which now I know they require much larger aquariums, but at the time I did have a 30-gallon bow front that came with me that had 2 goldfish in it that I had for like 10 years at the time. They traveled through every apartment with me through my 20s.
And they survived a lived a wonderful life, obviously.
Well, towards the end they did. In the beginning, I did not. I made many mistakes because it wasn't until I went back to college and got my biology degree and I took an ecology class that I had a lot of epiphanies in that class that helped me with my aquarium keeping. That I didn't know a lot of things before that class. And we weren't talking about aquariums in that class, but talking about so many different things pertaining to ecology and water cycle and the nitrogen cycle and just all different things. I would sit there and just be like, oh my goodness, that's why oh my goodness. And so the more I learned, the more I fell in love with fish keeping in a way that I just never understood before.
New inspiration.
Definitely. But when I was in my senior year of my undergrad, I started my guppy experiment, and I've always had guppies. I would say they are definitely the fish I've kept the most over the years. I still have so much to learn. There's always something to learn about guppies, but they're the ones that I have the most experience with, so I wanted to do an experiment with them, which was super ambitious, that kind of snowballed into just so much that I had no idea in the beginning, but it turned out fantastic for
I didn't realize that an
aquarium
experiment
career.
was going to transition from an experiment of 6 tanks and some little bitty baby tanks for the fry and stuff, and I'm learning all this on the fly vicariously through you.
Well, I don't necessarily think you were as interested in it as you are today at the time.
I was not
You
actively participating.
humored me.
I wasn't actively participating. I was there and was picking out little bits of knowledge as I went, but not really paying attention to it myself the way I should have been. But looking back on it now, 6 years later, wow, did I learn a lot of stuff. It was the knowledge and the rabbit holes we can go down to through this podcast is from nitrogen cycle, tank size, tank mazes. It's stress, just stress on your fish. That's a whole topic in itself.
Yes. But it was definitely through that experiment, trying to find answers to problems that I didn't foresee, that led me to the community on YouTube. And at the time, I couldn't find the answers to some of my questions that I was looking for. There was one that really stumped me, but that I just could not understand. The sand tanks, I had 2 sand tanks and 2 gravel tanks. And the sand tanks, taking just the overall experiment out of it, just curiosity, the sand tanks did better, and I didn't understand why. And through not finding the answers through professors and going to the hardware store and anybody I could reach out locally, they couldn't help me. I started YouTubing random questions that would hopefully lead me to the answer I was looking for. And I stumbled upon this community on YouTube that I was like, oh my goodness, they can possibly help me. And there is a handful of channels. I can't even remember what order I found them in anymore, but I started listening to their videos and reading comments and realizing that I was not the only fish person out there. Just because here it was just me and my dad. If I had a question about a fish tank, I usually got like, why are, like, I don't even have an aquarium. I don't even get why you do that. So finding everybody on YouTube, and it led me to just a whole community that I just had no idea, that changed, now looking back, changed my life. But it really kind of snowballed, because at the time I started posting videos just to have to see if anybody could answer my question. So that first, I would say, year, it was just the experiment on ScienceGal Aquatics on YouTube. And you can go back. They might not be the best videos to watch, but that was kind of the foundation of the channel. And then I think it was about a year.
Yeah, it started spiraling.
That after the experiment, because during the experiment I had the 4 tanks. I had the 2 stress tanks and the 2 stress-free tanks. And then I had the 30-gallon bow front. And then I don't remember exactly when it was. It was slightly after class ended and I graduated, or right before, I went to my mom's house and went through her shed and got my childhood tank, the one that we re-siliconed it, but it was my childhood tank, and I think she had one 10-gallon tank that we brought over here. And it just, as I fell in love with the community and learned more and started falling head over heels in love with fish tanks and wanted to keep everything I could get my hands on.
Which, when I assumed you were done with the project, all that was, we were going to keep some, it was going to be consolidated. We weren't going to have a bunch of fish tanks all over the house.
Because we never talked about adding to anything. I just did it. And I kind of, in the beginning, I had no plans either. It was just through discovery, accidental, of stumbling upon the community around YouTube, that I didn't, by the end of it, I couldn't even fathom tearing them down. But going into it, before I found everybody on YouTube, I don't think I really had plans to set up more. So it was understanding more and having the support of the community and growing friendships through just communicating through comments at the time. Because it was probably maybe a year or so about that time I started posting videos besides the experiment that live streaming came up. But just my eyes opened up, and by the end of the experiment, I was just adding anywhere I could put a tank in the dining room. It was small,
Not
holding
so
front.
much to my chagrin.
Yeah, because at the time you supported me, but you had no idea what I was doing. I don't think you truly understood the vision of, and I don't think I understood it either, because there was a time I was in the kitchen and you were cooking that I was like, I have 9 subscribers, I've graduated a few months ago, and I need to do something with this. I either need to continue posting videos or I need to just stop. And I don't know what I want to do with this, but I feel like it's a good decision to continue forward because it makes me happy, and I feel like it's something that's going to be positive in my life. So you were like, sure, why not? I don't care.
To coin a phrase, there is a lot of happiness in these little glass boxes.
There is, but I don't think you had any idea, and me too, what it would eventually turn into in our lives.
Well, I didn't realize even something that I had built and did not take care of properly by any means. Outside, I had built an outside koi pond or goldfish pond, dug it, lined it, everything properly. All the hardware was right. I'd had a few goldfish in it. I'd let it go, and it basically was a large water hole that my dogs drank out of after that. And once the experiment was over, Kerri's YouTube, ScienceGal Aquatics, started going. She took over.
Yes, I took over. I was like, look at this wonderful joy in our backyard that I had no idea.
That I had been mistreating. I hadn't done anything
but there was
with it.
nothing in it at the
just sat
time.
there for a couple years.
There was nothing in it at the time. But it's a 250-gallon, I think, maybe 300-gallon koi pond. It's got a little tiny waterfall on it, and we're so proud of it. I think we both want to upgrade it. But at the beginning of expanding my hobby in the dining room, I would ask you, I don't know how to say this. I don't want it to sound mean, but I would ask you to help me do stuff, and you would, but you would kind of huff and puff through it.
I was not interested and or invested the way I am now, and I have a new appreciation, which we will get to. There's a whole nother, I could go on for 2 hours about plants.
It's night and day different. But in the beginning, to kind of set up the Like where we've come.
It was just a glass box with water in it to me,
no
and
idea.
I didn't care. I really didn't care. It didn't matter to me in any way, shape, or form.
I would ask you to be like a little careful.
It was mostly just in my way and was costing me time, and I had other things to do.
Yes, and costing money on the utility bill.
Yes. Because we have to run for the experiment. We had to run so many air stones. We had to do this. I had to do that. And then I thought that, okay, we're going to get rid of some of these, consolidate. We'll keep a couple tanks. We'll have a bunch of guppies in one tank.
Because they were nothing. Most of the guppies were in, I would say the majority of the tanks at the time were just smaller 5-gallon ones. I eventually upgraded tank sizes, but at the time, so they were just a little bit of everywhere and a little bit obnoxious. And then to add the YouTube, because when I first started filming videos, I would make everybody leave. I didn't want anybody in the house. I would film it, and I would try to talk, which talking is difficult. I'm getting better. But I would try to film and talk what I wanted to say in one shot, because I still don't know how to edit very well, but I try. But at the time, I didn't know how to do anything. So adding the YouTube, like, I don't want you to be in the house. I want you to leave because it would take me hours. So go hang out go do something. That was getting on your nerves a little bit. And then it was just obnoxiously everywhere in the beginning too, in the living room. So it was a lot to digest all of a sudden, because it came out of.
It was a matter of 6 months.
Yes. It wasn't like overnight by any means, but it was definitely under 6 months. And I started the whole thought of posting these videos for help on YouTube in the beginning when I had the flu too. I was like, I just think this is the most fantastic idea, which it was. I'm so glad we did this. But at the time, you were like, I don't know.
Negative. Yes, negative. I don't agree to this. And then the next big switch happened. And as our fish relationship and our relationship bloomed further.
I think it helped, though, I think it was like a year, maybe a year and a half, that you let me move some of this downstairs too, so it helped.
Well, and that's what I was talking about. It was a transition time. I was personally done with all the little bitty tanks, and then she sideswiped me. Okay, if you're done with the little bitty tanks, then we need to get rid of all of these 5 gallons, most of the 10 gallons, and we're going to upgrade to nothing but 20 longs so that I can continue my hobby the way I would enjoy it to be.
But we still didn't upgrade all of them, because I still have some smaller ones.
I went ahead and said, okay, and fell into the trap of the $1 sale. And then the next thing I know, I'm buying racks, building racks, finding ways to hide cords, and we go from 6, 8 little bitty tanks to 12 tanks, all because we're consolidating.
And at this time too, like, again, you were supportive. You let me do everything I wanted. But at the same time, you were like, really?
Well, you sideswiped me.
You're going to have to figure out what you want to do with this stuff, because
I thought consolidating, we would put it in the basement. It would be maybe a little bit, take up a little more room. However, it would be a little bit less conspicuous, and we just have it down here, and
he didn't have to see it.
And you could enjoy it, and I would enjoy it when I decided I would want to enjoy it. That did not happen.
Yes. And again, just everything at once. The amount of tanks that came in, the amount of money that I was spending. I was still making sure everything was like the kids were fed, but I was setting up tanks sometimes can get expensive, and I was setting them up in no time flat. And the YouTube thing, because it took, at the time, I think you saw it as taking away from the family sometimes too.
And it's possible.
Because it did take up in the beginning, because, like I said, I still am learning, but...
It was a transition period for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But after going to a few fish auctions that I didn't even know they existed...
Mm-hmm. I think there was 3 pivotal moments in the aspect of you enjoying this hobby more.
I would say fish auction,
mm-hmm.
Aquashella... And I'm going to say Jason
mm-hmm.
from Primetime Aquatics,
mm-hmm.
his fish room. And the 4th one really kind of encompasses all of it,
mm-hmm.
is the fact that even though I knew nothing,
mm-hmm.
absolutely zero about the fish hobby, I got interested in the hardware, the setup, how to re-silicone tanks, which that could be a whole nother topic. And no one pushed me away. No one said anything bad. I was greeted with open arms, nothing but help.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think everybody that we've met through the years of going to Aquashellas, and here where we live, we have an auction. We have a winter auction and a summer auction, I believe. Like the auction swap. There's 2 big ones that we try to go to. And I think we have upstairs, we have a 180 gallon arowana tank. And I think getting that monster fish, because when I first got him,
that's a whole nother dilemma subject of why a buyer should beware.
Yes, I got the silver arowana when it was super tiny. It fit in a 10-gallon tank, and it was down here in the fish room. And during this time, it was still kind of fresh. It was probably like year 2.5 of the channel. I think we had moved down here and we had all the racks set up. We have a big wooden rack that has 255 gallons on it that I don't think we had quite built yet.
No, we had not. That was an anniversary present for year 4.
And you would come down here to the fish room if I needed help moving something or something was just a little bit too heavy for me. You would come down here and you would help me, but that was about as much time as you spent down here. But the local nursing home in the area happened to want to upgrade aquariums, and we got a hold of this tank through the local fish store because they knew that I would eventually need a larger tank, and so I was happy because I don't think we've seen a larger tank since. And we have the larger tank still in the dining room. He let me add some tanks upstairs. But getting that silver arowana and you kind of taking over the feeding, that's kind of his tank now, I think just added to you liking the hobby.
My very angry Adam the arowana.
Yes. And once I got brave enough we have a Sunday live chat that we do on the channel on Sundays.
At 4 Central.
Yes, and it started out as I would interview fellow friends of the fish fam that were fish tubers, and he would sit off to the side. And he eventually just kept walking in front of the light, and I was like, just come sit down, just at least help me read comments. And I think everybody in the chat really welcoming him in because everybody's so nice, and we're so lucky to have so many just friendly, welcoming people in this community that showed him why I fell in love. He got to see it firsthand. He got to see the comments. He got to read them. They were to you, not always to me. And instead of me just forcing him to listen to all the chats, they were starting to, he felt more included. And I think that's, I mean, I'm talking for you, but I think that greatly helped. Because now, if we want to do something or I need help or anything with YouTube, fish tanks, traveling, going to fish events, you're all in, like, you're game on. Like, it's a completely 180, 360 degrees.
It is an interesting hobby. And still to this day, I am not as enthralled, as bad as it sounds, with the fish as a lot of people are. I lean on learning more about the plants, the hardware, new ways to set tanks up, substrates, just on and on and on. Everything that does not actually involve fish.
And I've started liking the live plants. The last, I would say, 2 years, year and a half, I've really gotten into the live aquarium plants. Hardcore nosedive into a rabbit hole. But I'm still, forever, I like the fish the best.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with saying you like the fish the best, because you have spurred on a brand new hobby that we will have to discuss with everyone, is your shrimp.
Yeah, I am a shrimp addict. That is true. That was another thing that was just unexpected, that I was like, I'll try it. They're cute. But oh my goodness.
They go so well though in the guppy tanks. I will admit they look great. All the colors of the shrimp that you've been getting, it's basically a Skittles rainbow of Neocaridina, just from the whites, the blues, the greens, just contrasted against all the different colors of the guppies is wonderful. And then in a planted tank, it pops.
I spend an embarrassing amount of hours staring at them, watching them, and I just love it, and I won't change anything. And it's just a whole new, and I'm the type of person, I really like learning. If there's something, I don't even know how to describe. There's just so many different areas and aspects of this hobby that you can learn about that I never even was on. It wasn't even on my radar. Now that I like to think I've been around for a tiny bit on the fish tube and the fish fam, and I still, every day, I was like, I didn't think of that. That's so cool. I want to try that. I didn't even know that fish existed. That's beautiful. And there's just so many different aspects that, being the type of person that likes to learn, that you can just spend, there's just so many things.
Well, that's what this podcast is going to cover, is our pros and cons and the things we've learned from the stumbling across this idea, that idea. Did it work? Did it not work? How did we improve it, or completely erased it and said nope and went back to the drawing board with something completely different? To be able to go, yeah, in theory this was a great idea. In reality, absolutely awful.
Because I've had some ideas that I was like, I just don't know what I was thinking. In my head, that made total sense. The execution, however, did not. Because there's a lot more positive in my life with aquariums and fish keeping that I just can't even fathom. It's just so much positive. But there are days that it seems like,
but the execution of a lot of these things is your idea. I have to figure out how to execute
that too. But there's just certain days that I come down here and everything I touch is like, why do there's just certain
Walk
days
away.
and
Walk away.
they're few and far between, and some of those days it really does test, like, why do I even do this? Why? But at the same time, there's so much joy and so much that you can just...
Well, you also want to know the answer to the problem of why is it going wrong.
Mm-hmm. And there's just certain days, too, that just take out all of that. That I have a lot of anxiety, and there's certain days where I tell you that I just want to come down here and I don't want to film anything. I don't want to mess with the light or the camera. I just want a water changer. I just want to clean a tank and just feel better and get lost in that tank. And it does make me feel a lot better just taking the time out to enjoy that tank that I'm working on that day, and it makes me feel a lot better too. So even just, I guess, the mental health, mental sanity of keeping me it makes me feel better. It just makes me feel better.
Well, you have plenty enough tanks down here you could pick one every day.
I know.
Almost for an entire month.
Yes.
You could just do one a day, and finally, when you got to the end, you could start right back over. Mm-hmm. And never have to quit.
I know, I love it. I just love it. I just love the tanks. I love the fish. I love the plants. I love the community. I love the friends I have. I love the friends I'm going to have in the future. And I just love learning from everybody, because I have kept fish my whole life. I don't have too many memories without fish tanks, but there's still, like I said, just every day there's something new, something I never thought of. Someone said something in a stream. Or
your experiences, though, teach other people as well.
That's the goal. If I can help anybody, that's the goal. But mainly just learning and sharing. I might not know the technical ins and outs of everything, but I just want to share my journey of what I've gone through, what I've learned, what I need to learn. Some maybe questions that I don't know the answer to that still might help me, someone, you. It's just fun to try and share what's going on.
Well, you've taught me so much in just a short amount of time that I went down the other rabbit hole of hardware and plants, whereas you kept going down the rabbit hole of fish. And just the breeding and the different things that you can do, and water parameter wise and everything else, which is amazing.
Yeah, it makes my life a lot easier that you enjoy the hobby, but not only just easier, it's just something that we can do together that I never thought that we would be recording a podcast. You would help on YouTube, help with water changes. It's just overall just better. And hopefully it's a different aspect, because so many of the people that we've met, it seems like most of the time, the boyfriend, the husband, it's the guy that's been the fish keeper the longest, and maybe it's just a different perspective.
I think for no matter what the arrangement, sex, gender, etc., you can find something in this hobby that excites you, whether it is from aquascaping to the hardware, to plants, to fish, lighting, filtration. It can go on and on and on.
And hopefully we have tons and tons to talk about. And we'll continue this journey with you here with us.
Absolutely. There's so many topics we would love to discuss more today. However, this is only episode 1.
Yes. And if you want to be a part of the show, we have memberships on ScienceGal Aquatics on YouTube. And every so often we will have a members only, so you can be a part of the chat and help
Come
us.
join in and aggravate.
And if you want to see the podcast, it's going to be on the memberships on YouTube on ScienceGal Aquatics. But just thank you for listening.
And the podcast will be on
everywhere that
Apple, Spotify, all of your streaming.
Whatever you're listening to it on now, thank you. But if you want to see us, be a part of the show, you're welcome to be a tank mate or a tank pal, I believe, and a tank mate. I believe it was. I don't even remember. It's so new. But again, this is episode 1, so it's going to be a learning curve. But we're just excited to be here and share our journey and share our story and have you along for the ride with us.
Yep, we will explain our experiences, the pros and cons of everything we know, everything we've learned. I won't be doing a lot about the fish, but I can give you a lot about everything else.
Well, only time will tell.
Give me 30 minutes, I'll tell you something.
Each day's a new day, and we'll have him a whole other fish tank upstairs just for him shortly, I'm sure. But thank you so much, and thank you again, and I'm excited to see you in the next one, and thank you again for listening.
We'll be releasing once a week, I believe.
We will be here again shortly. But thank you, and until next time, we'll talk soon. Bye.